Hello everyone, Carlos here for my weekly let's call it a podcast. No, it's not a podcast, hangout, live stream, whatever you want to call it. Today I have a few things to talk about. Before I start, I want to address the most poignant thing that we can discuss. It's we're going to talk about the most abomination of abominable things that could be abominationally done, and that is pineapple on pizza. Now, before we start, a bit of history. Before we show this abomination, I hope everyone's ready and not triggered, because God damn it, it's so horrific. It's the worst thing you can imagine. Pineapple on a pizza. There's only one thing that's worse than that, I might add. It's not the most, but they are so close. That's anchovies on pizza. And so let's start with a bit of history lesson. Now, Canada, that glorious northern bit of the North American subcontinent, well, because I consider the Americas one continent as they are joined in mass, but I won't get into technicalities now. This little thing we call the Hawaiian pizza was thrown together, I won't even say invented, by a cook in a small Ontarian restaurant in Chatham, the satellite restaurant, by a Greek migrant. Now, no, I love Greeks. I love the Greeks, but I have to chastise this person. He invented the most horrific thing that you can invent, and that is the Hawaiian pizza. Sam Panopoulos, who I don't know if he's still alive. This was in last year, and he was 82. In the 60s, this cook, chef, pizza maker, threw bits of fruit onto a pizza. I'm not saying that it was just the fruit, but it's the wrong kind of fruit, because as we all know, tomato is a fruit as well. But unlike pineapple, tomato and pizza go together like Hansel and Gretel, or beer and bacon, for example. And at the start, the guy the pizza didn't sell well. He tried it. The customers were pleased. A few of them with the taste said, "Oh, this is delicious." But we all know that Canada, in culinary delights, they only have the poutine, which is basically chips or fries for our North American people, and cheese on top with gravy. I think that is a wonderful dish. I have yet to taste it, but the premise is fine. You have a lovely French fries with gorgeous cheese on top. Cheese is good in everything, but not all cheeses go together with everything. So I'll explain in a little bit. And some gravy. Gravy is always fucking awesome if you make it well. A nice meat stock, make a nice tasting gravy. I made one yesterday. Today I posted a picture of on Twitter of a pizza I made, homemade. It was a simple pizza. I added extra olives. Normally I wouldn't have added them, but they were the last few black olives, and I wanted to give it a little bit of contrast to the cheese. Beautiful mozzarella and nice tomato marinara sauce on the bottom, to make my homemade pizza. This was a homage to the Mediterranean area, and as we know, It was the Mediterranean area, basically, or most specifically Italy, that invented the pizza. Uh, when I was doing a search for this, who invented the pizza, I obviously went to Google, and as you guys can see here, it has a few other pizza toppings. Now, the original pizza is the margarita. That was the one that started it all. This is the pizza I most love. It is not necessarily the best pizza. It is the one I most love. The pepperoni is a classical American pizza. I will not um, weigh in on whether it's New York or Chicago pizza. I've been told that they are both fucking awesome in their own separate right. I won't get into the fight of which is better. They are all good. I could just say that there's a restaurant not far from where I live, about 116 kilometers, 170 kilometers, which actually has been winning pizza making contests in Europe for a few years. So I could argue that that is the best pizza, but I won't. When I was growing up in Australia, this was the pizza which I ate the most, but it's not this one. Let's see if there's an image of it. View image. Oh shit, it's crappy. Sorry about that. Let's go back. The Capricciosa pizza. While I was growing up in Australia, well, not when I was growing up, I was already growing up. I had a restaurant about a mile and a half, 2 miles, 3 kilometers from where I lived. It was Gino's Pizza. They made the most magnificent capricciosa which I could imagine. It was basically ham, tomato, cheese, the sauce, of course, the tomato sauce, and the fucking added anchovies. But I always said, take those fucking silver shit out, and I add extra tomato sauce. That was my capricciosa, and they were awesome pizzas. Now, there are toppings which you just do not add to pizza. One of them is one of them is pineapple. Another one is anchovies. And I've seen someone tweet mayonnaise on it. Tuna. There are pizzas made here in Portugal, where I live, that have fucking tuna on it. They have codfish. What the fuck? Keep it simple, guys. It's pizza is supposed to be delicious, not a fucking. You don't add kale to pizza. You don't add spinach to pizza. Well, some people fucking do, but it's gross. So yeah, we have. This is how I see pizza. I am not a chef. I'm a cook. I love cooking, and my pizza that I made today was quite nice. It was delicious. It was simple. It was racked up in 10 minutes. So yeah, it turned out nicely. And that's all we're going to talk about the pizza. Now, my next subject: words. Words are very important in our language. In any language, actually, words make up a language. Just having a swig of beer. Today I'm having a Bitburger. It's a German beer I picked up yesterday. And it's quite light. I'll see if my camera's working. And I'll get you. Nope, camera's not connected. Let me connect the camera, see if it works. Yes, here we go. This is the beer which I'm drinking, Bitburger. Now, words, as I was going to say, words are very important. Words make up our language, and but many people don't understand words. I love words. I don't brag about it. I can to more extent or less extent speak 5 languages. English is my native language. My second language is Portuguese. I can also speak Castilian and Galician, a little bit of French, Italian. I can swear in Greek, Yugoslav or Serbo-Croatian. I can say hello in 2 or 3 words in Japanese. I can 1 or 2 phrases in German, and so on. Everyone learns how to swear, but there are words which certain people find really, really troubling, and to me, it's one of the most. It's a word which I find quite amusing. It's a word that's very descriptive, and there's been certain people that have taken issue with this word. I'll just share the screen and show you what word I'm talking about. It's the word, when you get to see it, abnormal. I've gone here to the thesaurus.com and abnormal. I was looking up for synonyms of abnormal because I wanted to talk about my. After this, I'll lead into talk about the grotty half dozen. Grotty, as you can see here. Oops. Oh shit! Here we go. Is a synonym of abnormal. And what is abnormal? Abnormal is something. Oh God. That's something that's out of the normal. It's not normal. I don't know if you guys, what do you guys? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the chat as well. What do you guys think? Is it a inherently negative term or is it a neutral term? To me, it's a neutral term. It just describes something that is out of the ordinary. Why is it more negative than, say, this word, extraordinary? It basically describes the same thing. It's something that is not normal, that is something out of the ordinary. And normal is common. Common is a bad word? Is normal a bad word? I don't think it is. And why does abnormal have such a negative connotation where we can use deviant, for example, or heterodox, heteromorphic, off base? We can't be that. Spastic is it has negative connotations in some things, but it just means not normal. Queer, there's I don't know how really this works, but I think these are the lesser used synonyms of the word. But I don't know if you guys follow. I'm sure many of you follow Bering as well, and have seen his videos. He had a couple of some time ago a discussion with some of the for better. Well, I'm going to call them the grotty half dozen. I'll name them all in time, and I wish someone would get there because I'm blocked by most of them. I'm definitely blocked by Christy Winters, Michael Rowland, Steve Shives, and I'm ignored by Kevin Logan, and at the moment easily by Curiosity. She has muted me most certainly since I had a little spat with her last night. The only one that's sort of still replies to me is Tim Blake, and Michael Rowlands and Tim Blake had a discussion with Bering some time ago on the word abnormal, and even I have had a discussion about them at least with Tim, because Mikey just fucking can't He can't take opposing views and evidence-based views. In fact, so he just basically blocked me when I asked him 2 questions. I asked him answer this question, he couldn't, so he blocked me. And they were basically arguing that abnormal is a bad word, and no matter how much you try to explain to them that aberrant is even worse, anomalous is worse, but atypical. Why is atypical not a bad word? Bizarre. Bizarre has both things, both ways. Exceptional. Why is exceptional better or worse than abnormal? It sounds better. He's an exceptional person, but you can also say that in a condescending sort of way. Yeah, the poor mentally challenged. The victim of the Chicago 4, that white guy that got beaten up by the 4 black. He was exceptional, even though he had a deficiency, but he was exceptional. I could apply that word to him, but I could also apply that word to he had an anomalous character, an anomalous condition. Is that worse than saying he has an exception? He was exceptional. He had an irregular. Well, that's more irregular heartbeat, irregular patterns. That's more applicable to patterns. Odd. Why is odd applied to humans or some humans bad, and to other situations okay? Strange. Again, uncommon. That's uncommon. That's abnormal. Unexpected. Again, unnatural. Unnatural. It's weird that weird. There we go. Weird that not normal, abnormal. It's abnormal that these people, that some words have negative connotations while others don't. It's what we apply the connotations to, and this leads us to the Groddy half dozen. I said before, I wish someone would send this contact to them so they could listen to what I'm telling them, or later on they could see what I'm talking about. Them, we can even timestamp it. It's in the first quarter of an hour. These half dozen, well, 5 at least. Tim Blake is, even though he's completely, sometimes a fucking complete moron, which fucking frustrates me. I think reading him, he has some potential to be fucking red pilled out of his fucking mind. I know it's an abnormal thing to say to him, but yeah, he could have potential. But the plank, Kevin Logan, oh god, he's so fucking out of it. He's so it just doesn't get shit. It's like talking to an actual plank. Talking plank that can't analyze. He can't analyze the simplest things. I've seen these videos, and I'll get onto why I call them the Grady half dozen, Grady 5 more or less, with Tim just in there, because he sometimes is frustratingly fucking dumb shit. Chrissy Winters is the cement that binds them all. Obsession with 2 YouTubers is just fucking pathological. Now, she claims to be an academic. She says she has a PhD in social sciences. That's like having a PhD in basket weaving from my point of view. I don't have a PhD. I only have a Bachelor of Arts degree in archaeology. I follow the scientific method. Now, I consider academics anyone who follows the scientific method. Scientific method is simple. You guys look it up in Google. It's easy to find. It's factual, evidence-based data that you can extrapolate or back up, or can be tested. It has to be unfalsifiable. You do the unfalsifiable test. If it passes, then you have data. You have to do that. It's a procedure that every academic has to, in my opinion, follow. If they don't follow it, they are, in my opinion, not academics. They can make them the studies that they want. It is not working. I follow on Twitter real peer reviews, this account that sometimes shows academic papers, PhD papers, and some of them are just fucking blows my fucking mind away. They want to actually argue and defend a thesis based on their own fucking experience. That is the most antithesis of what an academic is. And Chrissy Winters is an example of this. I haven't seen any publications that she has done. Her videos has been shown basically either attacking Bering, Sargon. Those two are the prime suspects. Then you have a few that attack Trump, a few that attack other prominent YouTubers that are against her. And God damn it, that's how disingenuous. She does not apply for the little bit, the most minuscule scientific method, even in her arguments. She does not. She's just stupid, in my opinion. She's not an academic. She's a basket weaver. That's her. That's what she does. And I don't give a shit about. No, I'll get back to my thought. I just was reading something on the net. Stop showing this. This is boring. Sorry about that, guys. She is a false academic, in my opinion. She may have bought her degree. I don't know. But shit, social science is not a science. It's a pseudoscience. She cannot apply any of the scientific methods to any of her studies because they would be non-repeatable, has been amply shown by a lot of by many peer-reviewed studies. Michael Rowland's just fucking lolcal. Steve Shy is the boy in the bubble. If anyone's seen the movie, it was in the 70s. It was basically a kid who had this super weird autoimmune deficiency that he had to be kept in a bubble. It was a real based on factual stuff. And that's how I see Steve Shives. He's the boy in the bubble, isolated from the whole world. That kid, once he attained puberty, he actually, because of puberty, he regained his autoimmune defenses and he could leave the bubble. But Steve Shives will never leave puberty and will never be able to leave the bubble. So, Chrisiosity, I got into a spat about her because she tweeted about yesterday. Last night, in fact, about transgender bathrooms. I tweeted her, Jesus, priorities. You're worrying about transgender bathrooms while ignoring other much more pertinent pertinent events in the world, like female genital mutilation, for example. And she brought on this the comparative fallacy, or whatever the fuck. She did. One sec. Basically, I was making a fallacy trying to compare two things which are not the same. But I'm just demonstrating. I was just demonstrating her priorities are not in the fucking or SJWs. In fact, feminists. In fact, are not in the. They just don't get it. They don't see the priorities. Who fucking cares about transgender bathrooms? If you want transgender bathrooms, schools make a unisexual bathroom with fucking lockable compartments. There you have it. I gave her that example, and she just basically said I was getting more stupid. The conversation was getting more stupid. It wasn't by me. She couldn't address it. the main thing. Why does the average person care about bathrooms? If you have a fucking dick, you go to the male bathrooms. If you have a fucking vagina, you go to the female bathrooms. That is it. There's no controversy. If you want to do that to the extreme, New York has 31 different genders, then you have to legislate for every establishment to have fucking 31 different bathrooms. Do you see what she's getting at? What if a non-gender, they don't have bathrooms from non-gender because you fucking have no dick or no cunt either. So that's how it should. That's the priorities of stupidity. And that's about it. That was my small ranty bit. Now we're going on to something a bit more serious. Before I do that, I want to greet people in the chat. How are you, Bam? How are you, Levi? Gani, my dear friend, how are you, man? Warped, Inácio, a Portuguese cunt, Inácio Galo. How are you, mate? And everyone, Malefice, Warped, always a pleasure. Carlos, of course. And anyone new? Wikipedia snippets. You're new. How are you, mate? So let's get on to some education. You guys needed to be educated. So as I'm an archaeologist, and Raven, geez. Yeah, I did. If you have a ranty bit, go to the boys' bathroom. Yes, I did. Raven. Yes. Now, you guys know that I'm an archaeologist, of course, and I love Neanderthals. And there's been an increasing amount of studies and data that have come up. I keep up with them. I follow a lot of journals, archaeology journals. Biology journals, anthropology, paleoanthropology, paleontology, all of those that are geology, of course, that interest me. Now I'm going to share. I need a drink. My voice is parched. Now, I have an article here. I'm going to start doing this quite regularly from now on. After I do my about a half an hour rant, I will do another half an hour of archaeological news. I hope if I don't do the rants, I'll always do the archaeological news because shit, that's my field. Now, we're going to start off with this interesting article, which I saw today. I'm going to put it on full size so everyone can see it well. And it's about Neanderthals and human mixing. And how the DNA of Neanderthals are still influencing humans, us, humans, Homo sapiens today. There's a new ribonucleic acid sequencing analysis tool which reveals that the impact of Neanderthal introgressed sequences on human gene expression, which is a fancy word saying that Neanderthal genes still affect the humans that have them. This article has a little bit of a fallacious point. It starts off with saying that the last Neanderthal died 40,000 years ago. No, they didn't. I have an article here, but I have a Wikipedia, which is this one. This is talking about Gotham's cave complex in the Gibraltar. The most interesting thing here, it's been possibly the last hangout, not hangout as in hangout here, the last surviving group of Neanderthals that lived in Europe. This cave was excavated. There's many strata, many levels, which goes from the 8th, 3rd century. The Phoenicians were there in that cave. Then there's also the Neolithic levels. The Upper Paleolithic, the Magdalenian, and the Solutrean Homo sapien origin. But there's a level 4, which produced 103 items, including spear points. I'll highlight this out. Level 4 of the cave produced 103 items, including spear points, knives, scraping devices that are identified as Masturian. This complex, or shall we say, this culture, archaeologists call this the Masturian complex. It's all the material tools, etc., that they dig up, which were mentioned: spear points, knives, scraping devices. Now, but this is also a culture. The Masturian was a culture, and they were Neanderthals. Now, the data from level 4, if I'm not mistaken, the level 4, here we go. The dating gives level 4 between 33 and 23,000 years before the present time. So we're talking about Neanderthals living up until 23,000 years ago in this particular spot. Let's go back to the original article. The other article, I mean. So this is slightly wrong, but for the rest of the article, I'll keep it. I'll just ignore it. But what's more important is this part here. 50,000 years ago, the last human, it wasn't the last, but 50,000 years ago, and here, the Homo sapiens Neanderthal mating. Again, this article is, to me, slightly problematic. I hate using that word, fuck it, but I'll use it. Which there was an admixing of Neanderthals and human Homo sapiens. Now, the interesting thing is here, it starts off here. It'll contradict itself a little bit, but it basically says that. See if I can increase this. I think that's a bit better. Can you guys see it better? Try and put it a little bit bigger. That's better. Ooh, nice. That's what I want. I'll read this. Previous studies have found correlations between Neanderthal genes and traits such as fat metabolism, depression, and lupus risk. However, figuring out these mechanisms behind the correlation has been proven difficult, because we can extract DNA from fossils, but we can't extract RNA. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA is ribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid is DNA, which makes up our genes, etc. But ribonucleic acid is basically the mechanisms, the small bits of genes and so on that help build the DNA. So there is difference. You can't find those. Without this source of information, scientists can't be sure exactly if Neanderthal genes function differently than our modern human counterparts. They can, however, look at gene expressions in modern humans who possess Neanderthal ancestry. Now, that would be Europeans and some Western Asian populations, up until which I've already talked about in the past hangout and the past video I made or whatever, the Denisovan cave, which is Siberia. that is the most eastern extent of Neanderthals that we know of now. They could find more later on. The more we explore, the more we could find. But at the moment, Western Siberia is the farthest east that Neanderthals inhabited. The DNA composition of the European populations can be up to 4%. I myself have 3.5% of Neanderthal DNA. I've done the test, so I know how much I have, and that's what makes us and Europeans basically unique, because we are unique in. It doesn't make us a race, by the way. We are still Homo sapiens sapiens. We are not another race apart. So let's get that cleared up. There's only one race of humans on Earth at the moment, which is a sub-race, a subspecies of Homo sapiens, which is Homo sapiens sapiens. That is cleared up. Now, getting back to that, they can, however, look at gene expressions in modern humans who possess a Neanderthal ancestry. In this study, researchers develop a flexible Bayesian statistical approach to quantifying the allele-specific expression, and then analyzing RNA sequences in datasets called the genotype tissue expression. Let's see what that says. So I haven't read this part because sometimes, where is it? Here we go. All these slides. My internet's slow today, so because I have a lot of shit open. No, Carlos, there's no Homo sapiens. God, I love my cancerous chat. Oh shit, it's not opening. Oh fuck it. Never mind. Let's go back to our original. You guys can. I have the links to all the articles I have linked to, so you can research in your leisure, which is what you should do. Just don't take my word for it. Research. So they were looking for people who carried both Neanderthal and modern human variations. This test was done after I made this study was made after I made my test, but they could have used my data because it's out there. It was in the National Geographic Genome Project. If anyone remembers that, it was about the early 90s, 92, when I sent my DNA to be analyzed, and that's when we mapped the human Homo sapien genomes. Now, they did the test between head-to-head allele comparisons in 52 different tissues. And they found that 25% of all the sites that they tested, the sites that means in the genetic material, they can detect difference in expressions between the Neanderthal allele and modern human allele. Which means that yes, the Neanderthal genes in these 25% of the cases, they were noticeable when in the expression of the gene. An allele is basically, you can see here this diagram, the expression, the specific case. So it gives phenotype of variations. It's interesting read. Because of lack of time, I won't be going on to it too deeply. But the expression of Neanderthal alleles tend to be especially low in the brain. And the test suggests that these tissues may have experienced more rapid evolution since we diverged from Neanderthals approximately 700,000 years ago. I don't think we did diverge from Neanderthal 700. I've said that before. We didn't diverge from Neanderthal 700,000 years ago. Our common ancestor between the 3 and possibly 4 hominin Homo sapiens species, races, subspecies occurred about then. or even or later. No, it's about right. I'm remembering now. Yeah, it's about right. It's when possibly the Heidelbergensis gave rise to the archaic Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, which the archaic Homo sapiens remained in Africa when led to us, while the Neanderthals went to Europe, and another branch went to Asia, which gave the Denisovians, and then there's another one which the Andaman Islanders have, and we don't know at all nothing about that fourth hominin, or our cousin. They basically found that the gene called ADAMTSL3, which decreases. Now, this is interesting. If you can come back here at the start, it says that where is it? Here you go. That the Neanderthal genes affect could contribute to height, susceptibility to schizophrenia and lupus. Right now, the body of the text says it otherwise. There's here one example uncovered in this study is the Neanderthal allele, is the gene ADAMTSL3 that decreases the risk of schizophrenia, but also influencing height, which is interesting. Basically contradicts the first part of the article, but it doesn't matter. The results show that the molecular model, that they're revealing the casual mutation inherited from Neanderthal, says Dr. McCoy, whatever. Alternative splicing refers to a process in which mitochondrial RNAs are modified before they leave the cell's nucleus. When the Neanderthal mutation is present, the cell machinery removes a segment of the mitochondrial RNA. Mitochondrial RNA is found in the mitochondrial part of the cells. They have they are totally different DNA, and they are only inherited from the mother because they don't split. So that's one way to you can get back to the supposedly with mitochondrial RNA and mitochondrial DNA to the quote unquote Eve ancestor. And that is expressed in modern humans versions. The cell ends up making modified proteins because the single mutation of the Neanderthal ancestor. The connection between that modified protein height schizophrenia still require more investigation. So like I said at the start, they said it was a link, but now they said it requires more investigation because they don't know. But it's an example of how small differences between modern humans and Neanderthals could contribute to variations in people. Of course they are. That's correct. I'm not putting anything into that. But the hybridization between modern humans and Neanderthals increased genomic complexity. Of course it did, because you're introducing a new set of DNA into an organism. Of course it's going to increase genetic complexity. It's also going to increase genetic, what's that word for it? Instead of having the bottleneck effect, which means that the humans become more and more similar one to each other, once you introduce a different set of genetic material, you open up the possibility. So you increase the complexity, increase the math, basically the statistics. And that is what happened what it says here, it happens about 50,000 years ago. Yes, but 50,000 years ago, it says here as well, there are little bits and pieces. Our Neanderthal relics are influencing gene expressions in pervasive and important ways. Pervasive. This makes it sound like it's a negative thing. I don't think so. It's a positive thing, but it's also an important thing, obviously, and I will interpret as pervasive as an important and not necessarily negative way. Important, exactly. There goes on to say that the next step is to whether the Denisovans and other species of hominids with crossbred with us are contributing to these gene expressions. We do not have. It's still just too early in the study of the Denisovians. We still haven't settled on its name. This is one name, common name, but they're trying to standardize Homo sapiens altaiensis, because coming from the Altai region of Siberia where the cave is. So yes. This was one of the news that came out on Archaeology today. Any questions? I'm looking at the chat, so you guys have any questions, I'll answer them now before we go. Still a bit early. So we've got 10 minutes before I go on to the next article. While I have a drink. Yes, Wikipedia snippet. Werewolf, Canis lupus sapiens. Correct. I can't fault that. Okay, 100% illegal humans incidental. Furries. No. Okay, you know, you're just it's funny. Okay, no questions, guys. I know there's a lag between me and because I'm watching myself and I'm also got the chat open on two different computer screens, and I can see the lag that you guys have. Homo sapiens nut job. Yes, that is just brilliant. Hello, Malachite. I will, Gunny. I will gladly excavate the pure, honorous history of Kyrgyzstan and establish their past, their glorious past. That is why I'm planning to go to Kyrgyzstan and start my excavations next month. So I will do my best to establish their heritage and see what genetic traces they have. Okay, on to the next article. It's dealing with art. This one is quite easy. It also, but this one is about us, Homo sapiens sapiens, on the art bit. Again, I want to try and to too much. There we go. Art. This article from the Archaeological magazine. I love this magazine. It's quite good. The Archaeological Institute of America. That shows here prehistoric pointillistic images found in southwestern France. What is a pointillistic image? Well, it's basically an image where there was carved or just points engraved into a stone. Comes from the Vézère Valley, France, which is basically, if anyone knows, it's a south western part of France. It's near Bordeaux. It's the Bourgogne region. It has a hell of a lot of caves, limestone caves where Neanderthals and Homo sapiens lived there. It also has some of the most brilliant cave art that has ever been, that is shown. That and the Altamira in Spain, in the Asturian area of Spain, they are two of the world's greatest Upper Paleolithic art scenes in the world. Upper Paleolithic is the 45,000 years to 10,000, 12,000 years ago in Europe, before the Neolithic in Europe. So yeah. This article shows was reported in Life Science. Randall White of New York University and his colleagues has discovered 16 limestone blocks in the Abri, and Abri is basically a shelter, Celeri, that are thought to have been reshaped and engraved some 38,000 years ago by Europe's first modern humans. 38,000 years ago, they would have been quite well established in that part of France, that part of Western Europe. So modern humans, they would have been interacting with Neanderthals, pushing them into the Iberian Peninsula, further south until, like I mentioned in the article before, to the Gorham's Cave in Gotham's Cave in Gibraltar, and there's another one or two sites in Portugal which have yielded a cross, an admixed babe boy, the Lapetid child, 28,000 years ago, which has a mixture of Homo sapiens sapiens and Homo sapiens neanderthalensis characteristics. Now, the mammoth and the horse images on the blocks were formed with engraved dots and lines. The technique was often associated with 19th century pointillist artists. One of them was, I think, Cezanne. If anyone's been to the Louvre or seen Cezanne's painting, he basically builds up his paintings with dabs of paint on a canvas. I might got the name wrong. I think it is Cezanne. I will be corrected in the comment section afterwards and on the chat. If you guys, I'm not a very good art historian, so I don't. I think I know of us. I know a little bit about the Impressionists, and that would be one of them. There were 15 tablets that I thought to have been unearthed when the origination period. Now, origination period, they were the early parts of the Homo sapiens when they reached Western Europe. It's characterized by the points, origination points of flint blades. There are also ivory spear points. They've found those, and of course the art. Origination led on to Magdalenian. They are more smaller blades, bifacial, the chipped, really long and awesome blades, laurel leaf spear points, etc. And then we came on to the Solutrean, which is my speciality. That is the period 12,000. Well, it ends in about 12,000 BC when the glaciers retreat, and it started at about 25,000. That's the Solutrean period. That is where I love that period. Was when we were at our most efficient. We had microliths, really small flint blades, which were hafted on arrows, and they made all sorts of art and much more complex art than we've seen before this. But this was the beginning. The site was first excavated in 1927, and they were set aside and not started. The 16 tablets, which had been broken in half, were recovered during the new excavation. So when an archaeologist excavates a site, sometimes there's just so much material they don't want to destroy it or take it back to the lab and not study, so they leave it in the site and cover it up. So this may have been what has happened, especially in the early bits of archaeology, early times of archaeology. And so they that's when they provided the no, I'm sorry. I read this wrong. This is the first time I'm reading, guys. These tablets were found, and the new excavation, because they were found in a strata, they provide the site, and goes on to origin of art. And here's what they look like. You can see the bison over here, and the mammoth is this one here. So that's what they would be hunting then. So I've ended my little talk and basically explaining archaeological news. How did you guys find it? Is it okay if I do this sort of format? I'm still experimenting. I'm a bit comfortable. I'm very comfortable talking about archaeology. Um, what guys do you think? Now, I think it's time. If anyone wants to come on, please say in the chat or on Twitter. If any of you probably follow most of you. I know what. I'll just fucking post the invites here. Now we're just having a chat. I have to get through 2 beers, so it'll just be informal. There we go. Oh, I didn't mention why I started talking about the Karate Half Dozen. Basically, they are fucking obsessed with Bering and Sargon. And I find that, like I said, they're fucking pathological. Just, god damn it. I'm obsessed with Portugal. Well, I shouldn't admit it much because I'm trying to wean myself out of it because it's making me actually ill. Portuguese football, just a fucking crap fest here. There's so much corruption, it's impossible. I'm trying to wean myself. That's my obsession. My pleasure, Bam Bam, mate. I hope I make it interesting. I'll always have some articles. I look for the most exciting ones because I have about 150 that are just so fucking boring. I know. Well, yeah, no, I'll do it for another time. Like I was going to talk about a bracelet. It's a gold torque that was found in the UK. Yeah, I just saw the title, saw it was in the UK. I don't know the details, but it's supposedly in the title. It's international. How do you spell Silutrian? Silutrian. Silutrian. No, well, the first part of the question, Malefice, basically the caves, if they have a constant environment, constant humidity, constant temperature, there's no variation. So of course they would last a long time up until now. They will last much longer if they're not disturbed. Now, how do they make clay tablets, say in Mesopotamia? Easily, they make clay. We've been making humans, Homo sapiens have been making clay since about 20,000 years. There's Upper Paleolithic Salutrian artifacts from Czech Republic, the Czech Republic. Oh God, I can't remember. I can't pronounce the name. Volstone something like that. It's a really, really important site. Yeah, Solutrian, that's the one. Sorry, I spelt it wrong myself. I'm getting a bit drunk, so yes. See, got it more or less right. I'm working off my mind Wikipedia snippet. But anyway, answering Malefice, clay is nothing new. Humans have been more or less from the Solutrian period, have been making clay, firing clay. The Venus figurine, there's a Venus figurine, a head. Okay, just so you guys can see what I mean. Dolny Vostonica. Sorry about for the delay. I'll just share the Dolny, what I was talking about, clay. This one. This is what I mean. 28 to 24,000 years. It's still within the more or less within the Solutrean industry, Solutrean Magdalenian. But you can see that they these two kiln, these two objects. These are the Dolny Vestonice Venuses. They are a worshipping symbol. We think they may have been used for a ceremony or a charm or whatever. We don't know. The Venus, we call them Venuses, but they're anthropomorphic, feminine, yeah, sort of Mother Earth Malefice, exactly, something like that. Yeah. Oh shit, I'm making an echo. Yeah, they were say the Mother Earth, and we think maybe it's the Mother Earth or the fertility or some other thing, because you can see the exaggerated mammary glands and the buttocks, and the basically the sexual organs of the female. I'm sure the SJWs and feminists, oh, it's fucking sexist. They were misogynists. No, they were fucking worshipping women. And so yeah, they were made by limestone, ivory, clay. These were some of the first clay artifacts, which then led continuously until the Mesopotamia, which was a city states, easily to make clay tablets. They would have been making clay tablets for about 3,000-4,000 years. So I hope that answers your question, Malefice. What else? Gaia. No, I wouldn't. They would no, not yeah. They call them Gaia, but I don't know about the Persian Empire. I don't know. I won't go into that. I'm not. It's not my forte. Like I said, I am prehistoric. I've said in the past hangout, which I sort of was I was basically attacking and defending myself. I like pre-agriculture. So yeah. So no one wants to join. I've already posted the link to these hangouts. G'day, Ave Gaius Caesar. So, what have I been doing this week? Because no one wants to join, no one wants to converse with me. I'll put the link again, and anyone who wants to join can. And not bad, mate. I'm not bad, guys. I'm work today. It was supposed to, it's a holiday. It was a holiday here. It was Carnival, and it was fucking funny. God, early last century, even during the Portuguese dictatorship, we did have a carnival, Our dictators let them do it. But it was nothing like the Brazilian carnival. We had our own. We would dress up as allegoric figures. Nothing political. Was sort of like our Halloween here. We didn't go trick or treat. We did have tricks. Yes, we did have tricks. It was a time when I remember here in the village when the young people would sort of steal the carts, the cattle drawn carts, and move them to, well, just play tricks, general tricks, nothing that would break or harm anyone. It was just fun. They'd probably get all the cattle pulled carts and stack them up because they weren't that heavy. Stack them up in, say, in the middle of the village, and everyone would say, "Oh, they stole our carts," and they'd go and find them there in the middle of the village. There was nothing evil sort of thing. They were the tricks, and the treats were they would dress up as old ladies, as old men. They'd wear as stuff like that and just do shit. Yes, thank you, Snippy. I'm doing my best to entertain you guys, and talking a little bit about the ethnographic aspect of our carnival, the Portuguese carnival, which shouldn't have anything to do with the Brazilian carnival. Not that there's anything wrong with the Brazilian carnival, but it's the Brazilian carnival. They are in summer. It is expected to have semi-naked and naked ladies trancing along, but today the temperature was averaged 10 degrees. It was raining in most of Portugal, and we had the flotilla of the revelers in the bikinis with fucking chicken skin trying to dance the samba, which I fucking find abhorrent here in Portugal, at least. We have other types of music which we could do, and it was just fucking funny the way they. If I ruled Portugal, I would ban the Brazilian carnival. I would go back to the traditional one, which has its roots based in pagan traditions from a zone not far from me. It's called Trás-os-Montes, behind the hills. Translates basically to behind the hills. I'll write it down. Has that's the one. That's how you say it. It's a zone here. It's very, very isolated, very dry, very cold, very beautiful, and in a straight line as the crow flies. It's fucking 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers to the nearest city, and as the crow flies. So Deus Volt, of course, obviously. I'd make everyone worship my favorite god. You guys should look him up. Priapus. God of fertility from Rome. He was fucking awesome. He was well endowed. It was so. I always use it when I ever debate any creationists, any religious people, Christians or anyway, Christians or not. Fuck it. Any religious people, I say, look, my favorite god is Priapus. Prove he didn't exist, and that shuts them down because they say he's big schlong. So yeah, so I had to work today, and exactly, Wikipedia snippet. You know how to use Wikipedia, but you disappoint me. You could have gone to other sources. I use Wikipedia if I want to just get the general overview I don't use it as a source. I'm not criticizing you, my friend. No, 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 no. You do well and continue to do well. But me, in contrast to our quote unquote academic Christy Winters, I actually need more than one source. Obviously, I made that clear in many, and I will make it clear in every hangout I do and every talk I do. I need to have more than one independent source. In studies, for example, they need to be peer reviewed. That's it. By leading academic journals and trustworthy. Well, most of them are still trustworthy, but they are getting a bit politicized. It's worrying me a bit. So yeah, I read. I've learned how to read, which is easy to do. You once you get into the neck of reading academic papers, you of course you have to know the language. Like I wouldn't have a clue on for example, a physics academic paper, a chemistry academic paper. I do know biology though, and I know enough of geology to not be completely confounded. But other fields like medicine, forget it. I'm not. If they touch on biology, I know, but if they touch on specific medical um, um, aspect of the terminology, I could be confused. I could be. Well, I usually note them down, research what they mean, then come back. So yeah. No, crazy. I've not written any academic papers. I just don't have the funding. I don't belong to a university. I'm just a simple. Um, I work in a simple ethnographic museum, unfortunately. Well, I'm lucky that I can do my own research and just for me, just to keep up with my own field of study. I missed my bit to further my education, but my kids aren't. I won't let them do what I didn't do. They will do what I didn't do, and that's get even further into the education than I did. Yes, it is exactly. That's the scientific. That's one part of scientific method. That's why what fails in many of the today's doctoral theses that I've seen, like I said in before, real peer review in Twitter, he shows snippets of some academic papers that are defending a thesis for a doctoral degree, for fuck's sake, on fucking their own experiences or feelings or some shit like that. That's what Chrissy Winters has done most likely. I have no fucking doubt, because you have to replicate a study. It has to be independently replicated. That's how they found out that cold fusion 20 years ago was bullshit. These idiots published a paper. The magazine that the academic magazine that published it didn't really fully peer reviewed it. It was then tried to replicate it independently by every fucking scientist on earth. I'm even sure Thunderfoot would have tried to replicate the experiment, because once you write a peer review paper, you have to put all the steps on how your experiment is supposed to be worked out, how the steps you take to experiment. It's basically an instruction manual on how to do that experiment. That's what peer review papers in most academic, at least in the STEM fields that which I'm familiar with: biology, physics, chemistry, maths, and geology. And archaeology draws on that. Even though it's a humanities subject, it draws on the STEM fields. It follows a scientific method, which is unique in basically the humanities subjects. So and if you have they replicated, they tried to replicate the cold fusion experiment, and they said fuck no, they were putting in energy to show the energy, so there was a fraud. And that's how you you expose frauds with sociology papers and studies, which are basically fucking polls and questionnaires. You don't even have to ask anybody. You can do it yourself. I've done that. It's so fucking easy to forge a fucking study. Yeah, of asking, filling up a poll or a questionnaire. You can do it yourself. You don't need to go out in the field. I've done that in year 11 geography. I was fucking the most. I still am very, very timid and introverted. I just didn't want to go around my area. I had to do a subject on interviewing people on certain matters. I still have the actual study, and I engineered the whole questionnaire to basically give me the results I wanted to get. And I didn't interview anyone. I just basically got the polls, the numbers that would prove my point, and then the others I just randomly added answers and so on. That's why I don't believe in polls and questionnaires, because they are bullshit. You can't replicate them. If 7 polls were to or questionnaires were given to me, I would give 7 different types of answers. I can do that, and even not subconsciously. That's why I don't think these sociology studies are valid at all. They're complete bullshit. And that's my point of view. And I would debate any of the grotty half dozen on certain on many subjects. One of them, which I want to debate them, and I wish someone would tell them and pester them, because, like I said, Kevin Logan has me into his, Michael Rowland, Steve Shives has me blocked. Chris Yossity, at the moment, probably since last night, has me muted as well. And Tim Blake's the only one that answers me. I want to talk about equality. I've posted enough. I've made up an equation. Equality equals agency plus responsibility. I want to debate them that. Because if female equality or any other equality, minority equality, anything, it has to have agency plus their responsibility, auto responsibility. They must be responsible for their acts. If they have agency and they have responsibility for their acts, they have full equality. If you take away any of the responsibility, they will not have agency. If you don't have agency, they can't have responsibility, so they don't have equality. It's a logical equation, which I think is quite, quoting Chrissy Winters, robust. So yeah, if anyone can organize that, I'll be happy to debate them. St. Clair, I was describing Steve Shives, or the Grody half dozen before. Steve Shives is basically the boy in the bubble. It's a movie, the 70s. Google it, and that's what basically he is. And it applies to many other people as well, but I think he's the epitome of the boy in the bubble. Yeah. Oh, I don't dislike anyone except one special person, which is the only cunt that is in my block list for Twitter. I don't block anyone, and I hardly mute anyone. I just ignore them. They can fucking fill up my notification with tweets. I just ignore them and go on to some other one. So that's basically what I do. Except one special person, which is the only cunt that is in my block list for Twitter. Alexander, you are
Hello. Seems it worked.
Hello, Alex. You were echoing me before.
I'm very sorry for this. Technical difficulties with my silly phone. Sorry, it's the only headset which I have.
No problems,
And
man. No problems. Coming in clear.
My PC headset is broken, therefore I have to improvise. About Christy Winters and her studies, have you an idea if how can I deactivate my stupid cam?
If there should be there should be this icon that says a camera if it's red. Well, if you click on it, it has a microphone. I think you turn it off. No.
Forget it. It works.
Did you turn it off? Oh, yeah. Well.
About her. Have you an idea where you could find her papers, her article?
Well, we have to go to her, probably her homepage or whatever. She must have a.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, and she must have links to some papers which she's probably not done. I don't know.
That's highly interesting. She's working for a Leibniz Institute.
A what?
The Leibniz Institute. Leibniz, you know, this was a famous German mathematician. Yeah. And wow, then she should be really good. Because it's difficult to join there. It's really difficult.
Have you got the right Chrissy Winters?
At the moment, I can't open this silly link.
Let me see. Let's see, where is she?
Here she is. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we have the papers. The outside perspective. Agency, my... No, seriously. The title, listen. My heart says one thing, but my head says another.
That is
technology of... Seriously?
That is her papers. That is her papers.
That's a paper. What?
No. It can't be. There's see here. Wait, political science. There we go. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's her.
I sent you this. No. But I don't, or should I? I could ask her. Come on, lady, give me your article.
I found her. Outside Perspectives, Replicating Focus Group Research Design. Agency, Communion, the Intervention of the Vote and Political Attitudes. Oh, I gotta read these. But as you know, okay, let's click on one and see the papers. Have they been peer reviewed?
Yep, be also interesting. Okay.
Oh, request PDF. Fuck off! I'm not requesting PDF. It's probably a.
Where did she? Journal of Allocations, Public Opinion and Parties. Never heard before. Okay, I'm cell biologist and total other field.
Oh, good. I'm on I'm on one of my sock accounts, so she won't know it's me. God damn it!
We'll ask her tomorrow for this for these papers and see if she will give.
I'll tell you, but she may work for the Leibniz Institute of Social Sciences. It's social sciences. That is not. It's social science is not a science.
Okay.
It's basically basket weaving, like I said. No matter what beautiful name it has behind it, it's not.
Yes.
It's not a God. It's not a science. And now you have to use you have to use the scientific method. It has to be replicated. If
Exactly.
if just one of her papers can't be replicated by independent tests across the whole earth, like physics, maths, chemistry, biology, geology, if you can't replicate any tests like that, they're not scientific.
Yep.
You can make a beautiful poll or a beautiful questionnaire. Do you consider roses beautiful? Yes, no. In the UK, yes. In Japan, probably no. In Korea, no. In Australia, the Aborigines, no. In South Africa, yes, maybe. That will never be replicated because you can't. It's in their opinions. And Jesus. Let's get on something. Chrissy Winters makes my head explode. Gives me headaches mostly. And God, she really brings down academia a lot. She and many others, which in many ways, even Thunderfoot fucking brings down academia.
Will
When
ask her
it
for these papers. I wanna that she will give me them, and I will read them. And if I like,
oh man. Understanding women's and men's political interest, evidence from a study, gendered political analysis. How the fuck can you make a bloody completely objective study which you can replicate in the whole world? You can't. This will only fucking work in universities. You in universities of the mostly English-speaking countries. You take this shit to Japan, they'll fucking laugh your head off. Oh man. Oh, she's even worse than I thought she was. Oh, please, someone tell her that I'm saying this. I will fucking love to debate her.
yeah, and if you are watching these figures, they're also very funny.
Quantitative comparative methods. Qualitative. No, you cannot have qualitative comparative. No.
Okay, can we stop this before?
Yeah,
my
let's
head
talk about
explodes?
beer.
No,
Yeah, let's talk
no.
about beer. I'm
Let's
having a
bring in another topic.
I'm drinking a
Maybe
Bitburger. Have you drank that?
yes. During my army service, I have drink them, but it
It's a bit
wasn't
light.
my favorite beer. I preferred. My goodness, this was 25 years past when I was in the army. And my favorite beer, they were come from Belgium. They tasted very good, really good.
Oh, I love beer from all countries as long as they're really good beers. Not all. Sorry. Craft beers of the United States apparently are very good, but don't give me fucking Bud Light or that shit.
Okay.
Budweiser Light, American Budweiser. I've drank in Czech Budweiser, Budvar.
Yes, yes, tastes very good. Yep, that's very, very tasty.
This year, I'm planning to get IPA, Indian Pale Ales, and some porters. I'm going to England English beer, English ales and beers?
So there is black beer or what is called
Oh,
special
black beer. It's outside my window. It's a Guinness.
Guinness.
I want to ask you on pizza, pineapple, yes or no?
Pineapple on pizza? Nope. No,
Oh,
not
good man. Oh,
no,
you
no,
are civilized.
no, not my thing. No, 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 no. Never, ever.
God, I want to have Logic done. Logic. He's a pizza. Well, he's fucking Canadian. No, I'm not surprised. Yes, they have a Wikipedia snippet. Not just in the United States. I think they've exploded all around the world, and they are producing really, really fucking good beers. Much better than the mass-produced shit, mostly shit that you can get.
Mhm. Yeah, normally I prefer a beer from little companies.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
are
Germany,
they are
Jesus.
much more tasty than they are from the big companies, in my opinion. My opinion, because we have here in my hometown, Bern, it's the capital of Switzerland, and there is a little company called a drum depot. That means sorry my English, because normally I'm not so talking too much, also not in my native language. Therefore I have looked that I can work in a lab. Just a moment. What does it mean? Tram. Straßenbahn, and that's wow, fantastic! It's a streetcar. It was an old streetcar depot, and in this building they have built up a brewery, and this beer is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic beer. A bit
Is that Swiss beer?
expensive. Bit sorry, it's
Is it?
it's that's the name of this. It's this normal German beer.
German. Germany has so many really good beers because of just one law, the
Culture.
1798 or 1791 purity law.
It's bottom fermented beer.
Yeah, that is the best. They are very good beers. Yes. Switzerland, does it have any beers?
Yes, in the past we have some big companies. We had some big companies, but
Mhm.
most of them were gone.
What about now? Do
Sadly.
they have any craft beers, for example, that could be good?
Um, for example, it's one of the last companies. It calls Feldschlösschen.
Hmm.
I think it's the biggest one, or the only one which have survived. Wow. Okay, I'm 18. Yes, that's true. Our beers. Do we have this
Hmm.
also in English?
Which one? Which beers?
I will send you this. Which do you
Where
prefer?
are you sending them to me? I'm not seeing any links.
They are coming. No
Uh,
worries.
no worries, man. You can do it here on Google Hangouts, or as you follow me
Oh, send you a
on
Twitter.
Twitter.
So, and
Oh, there you go. There you are. Jesus, yes. Uh,
Swiss beers. What we have here?
Feldschlossen. Feldschlossen.
Yes, Felsenau, that was also an old beer brewery from.
Let me see. Let me see if I can read this. I'm going to try my reading in German. Ich bestätige mindestens 18 Jahre alt zu sein. How did I go? Was shit, no. Was crap. I wrecked that sentence. Durch das Bestätigen deines Alters.
Durch das Bestätigen deines Alters.
Oh God, I'm not going to try again. Die Cookie und I can say und mehr Info dazu findest du in unseren Disclaimer. I can say that. I sincerely and heartedly apologize for my wrecking of the German language. I'm sorry.
Absolutely no problem. When I was at the university, we have had some courses with another group, and the group there was a postdoc from China, an officer from the Chinese army, and the only language which I understand was more or less Chinese. Okay, his English wasn't bad. Okay, it was poor, like my English. Therefore, if he tried to explain me something and I tried to explain him my result, which I've made, there were two computers. He was on the left side, I was on the right side, and both have ticked or bubblefish and typed in what we have to try to say to each other. Yes. Well, that was our conversation.
Babblefish used to be quite okay. I haven't used it for a bit. So. Huh? I'm reading Twitter. Jay sent me something. Anyway, it's a video. Well, when was that? 22 minutes ago. He may have been on the chat here or not. Who knows? Yeah. And now I just opened my Guinness export. So I got another half an hour to go or less. As soon as I finish it. But yeah, in July, I have two. It's in July. Two motorcycle rides. One of them, well, I'm not going to go on the motorcycle ride, and the second one I'm going to go with a car. The first one I'm going to go to a meetup which is close by, and the second one I'm going to an arts beer festival where I went last year. I bought some quite good beer, but I want to try and find, like I said, IPA, Indian Pale Ales, and porters. Porters are not stout, but they are not as dark as stout. They are quite good beers, and I want to get a few of those. So yeah.
Port beer, ooh, dark black.
Yeah, the best stout is Guinness. In my opinion, other people, because it's my opinion, it doesn't mean that there aren't other stouts which are as good or not. It's something that's subjective. I like Guinness. Especially the export special, because it has more alcohol than the other one, and it's more meat here. It has 8% alcohol. When you buy the one in the cans with that little nitrogen ball that makes it all nice and fluffy and all stuff, that only has about 5% alcohol, so it's not as good. And yeah. So guys, what in the chat? What is now? Let me see if I can do my South African. Shit? I was listening to a South African talk today. He was explaining how the electro lightning of the South African Air Force was bombing the stupid Angolans and Mozambicans when they were trying to conquer the bloody commies. They were trying to spread the communism, and we South Africans were trying to keep them away. That was I need to get more drunk to get my accent, my South African accent, quite well. But I can do an even really good, more exaggerated British type South African. He used to be a cricketer, Tony Gregg. He'd like to meet a friend of mine. How's it been, Jum? 6 months ago, he was playing cricket, and there was a crack in the pitch. It was very close to the way that he talked was very close to the British way, but also with the South African way that my good friend Adam and his Apple talks. But I like the way that Adam and his Apple talks because it's very refined South African. It's not as Boer-ish as Boer. The Boers have a very more deeper South African accent, or English accent, I should say, which is not anywhere near close to the Australian or the New Zealand. The New Zealand, they eat the words. I don't know. I can't imitate the New Zealand accent. Now I'm just fucking rambling along, doing my fucking accent shtick. And I'm not going to go into WOG. I've tried that before. I've done that before. So I'm just going to continue in my normal English. Sorry, Alexander.
No problem. No problem.
Oh, God. What time is it? It's 12 o'clock. My time. It's 1 in the morning at you time.
Yep. And if you remember me, it is. It should go over.
Guys, the only real time zone is Greenwich Mean Time. Every other time is so fucking off.
And last week, oh my goodness, the next day, I have way too much beer into this.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant. a bit the stupid. I bet she wasn't even Boer. I bet she was a descendant of a Portuguese woman or something. Because, God, Portuguese South Africans can be, the white ones could be fucking cunts. Oh, this is something weird because how can I explain this without absolutely looking like a big dick? I separate the artist from the person. Like I absolutely love Thunderfoot's science videos, but when he talks politics, just politics, I love how he destroys also feminism and creationism, religions and shit like that, where he uses his logic, pure, almost we can peer review the shit that he the evidence that he puts out. But when he talks about politics, Thunderfoot, he just fucking becomes like a moron. And I cringe. His brain seems to get a 404 error when he talks. Or is it a 505? I can't remember. It's one of those fucking errors where the computer freezes and just shit. And like I said, I separate the artist from the person. Literature, I love literature. I love reading. And I admit, and I will admit, it doesn't make me anything. I admit that, and I can even see the brilliance of the books. I like the Harry Potter novels. I don't like J.K. Rowling's political views and shit, but in terms of her literature, at least the Harry Potter novels, and I hope she continues. the vein that she is on, and she doesn't fucking introduce SJW shit into the future books, because the ones that up until now, even the Magnificent Beasts and Where to Find Them movie, she helped write. She wrote basically the script and that. It is brilliant. They are brilliant. So the Harry Potter novels, they start off basically the audience grows up with the books. If you see the first one, it's basically aimed at a 11-year-old child, and each book after that, the audience gets older and older and darker and darker. That is a fucking brilliant literary move thing. Method. But she's a total moron when she talks, and she can't even see her own stupidity. But that's another thing. Today I saw the movie Magnificent Beasts and Where to Find Them. There were a few SJW items that have spread, that have were there, but if she really took on and noticed what she wrote, how the segregation that she wrote into this screenplay of for example, in the UK, the non-magic folk and the magic folk could mingle and breed and marry and all that shit. In America, it is fucking full segregation, total a segregation. Not only that, but of quite an authoritarian regime for the magic people. And I won't go into that malefice about her not saying, "Oh, take the refugees," but she fucking won't. But that's all the fucking virtue signaling morons that have money. Those useless cunts of. Even she's a useless cunt. I have to say it. She is. She wrote books good. Shakespeare wrote books as well. Today, if you're lucky enough and you have a bit of talent, you can write a book that fucking makes billions. And she was lucky to have the right time in the right place. To me, still, no one beats, in the English literature at least, no one beats Tolkien to me. No one approaches him by a fucking long way. Tolkien is the top. He's the fuck. I won't even. I could almost say God, but no. He's the most brilliant writer. The way he can, at least in the, to me, in mostly all time, because he constructed a mythology.
Yep.
He constructed a world, not just a world. He constructed a languages. Yeah,
exactly.
Constructed a mythology.
That was fantastic work. I absolutely love his books.
They are brilliant. I started from the hardest part. When I first read, I have all of his books, Tolkien. I have them all, except one. I have to get the last one that was published by his grandson or his son a couple of years ago. I know the name. I just can't remember it now. I have it written it down somewhere, but I have them all. But if anyone wants to read Tolkien,
yep,
you don't start with The Hobbit,
yep,
or The Lord of the Rings. No, you start with the Silmarillion, and then you go on to the other books before you get to the trilogy and The Hobbit. So you have to learn the mythology, the background, who the characters were. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Yep, same here. And again, read it. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah. Another set of books which I love to read. It's a bit to do with archaeology. There's an American author. Her name is Jane L. It's written Aule, but it's pronounced Owl. She lives in Washington State. Or is it the one below? Anyway, she lives in one of those hippie states, not California, north of California. But yeah, Oregon. I think it's Oregon. Yeah, it's Oregon. She lives in Oregon. She wrote a series of books. If anyone, I'm sure everyone knows about it. It's Clan of the Cave Bears.
Ah, yeah.
There's not just one; it's a series. The series is called The Earth Children. Clan of the Cave Bear was the first one, and then there was the oh god, what was the second one? The Valley of the Horses, the Mammoth Hunters, which were in two books, Mammoth Hunters. What was that was the third one. The fourth one was sort of like the Journey Home, but I can't remember what was it called.
Yes, exactly. This series, a good friend of mine are reading them at the moment, and he's thinking that's absolute fantastic stuff.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Then there was the uh, cave of something, paintings or something, hanging cave or something, and the last one, to me, oh god, I was a bit disappointed, but I haven't bought it yet. So I bought the audio book, but I haven't bought the physical book, which I have to buy. I have to buy to complete my collection, or else it's not complete. And those series of books, if you remove the fantastical narrative, love story thing, and just concentrate on whenever they describe something that is done, like how she makes a fire, how she cooks her food, how she does medicine, and so on. That is called experimental archaeology, and that is quite accurate and correct. You can replicate everything that she describes in the actions, not the spiritual, fantastical, like I said, love story and all that shit. You take away that layer and just concentrate on the description of, say, how she constructs a basket, how she cooks the food, how she makes some medicine, and the plants that she uses, the way that she uses the plants, and the scientific part of it. It is completely replicatably correct. It's like using the scientific method.
And that means for me, I should buy this.
That's why I like. Yeah, that's
Very interesting. It's all
Quest for Fire. Yes, I do. Wikipedia, the most fucking horrible movie of trying to represent Neanderthals that have ever made. I'm sorry. The movie of Clan of the Cave Bear was horrible. The books are good, but Quest for Fire. Oh fucking god, that was horrible.
I have to say, I've never watched it.
Well, you should. Ron Perlman's in it though. The one that made Ron Perlman, he's a good actor and so on, but the movie was just so unscientific. In fact, there's a neighbor of mine. She's also an archaeologist, but she's actually working because she studied here and she has connections and that she's working as an archaeologist. She was the technical expert on a movie they made about Neolithic man, supposedly Neolithic man, in where I live. They got the clothes, the culture, and a lot of things completely wrong in this movie. If they'd have, and I'm critical of her, she doesn't talk to me, and I've talked to her about it. I've criticized her, and she doesn't talk to me about that because, shit, it's part of anything that's pre-agriculture. I'm not fucking the arbiter of it, but I know enough to know when it's fucking bullshit or not. So yeah.
Mhm. About this topic, it would be also interesting for us gamers if you could have a game where you could try to survive in such an environmental, as for example, as a Homo neanderthalis.
Mm. I can imagine. I honestly, I've had so many mental experiments on how they lived, and honestly, yeah.
But
Can you imagine every time I go do a trip or go somewhere which is a little bit far away, I get bored easily. I turn off the radio and I do this experiment, and I imagine the landscape of wherever I am, how it looked 10,000 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I look for um, what hunters how they could interact with the land, the area, where the animals could walk, could migrate, where the animals could feed, where they could find hunting, and so on. Depending on which direction the exposure is, north or south, were there trees, say 15,000 years ago, almost at the end of the last glacial period. If the south would have had trees while the north wouldn't, for example, stuff like that. You can train yourself, and I love to do that. It's just fantasy. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I think we've talked enough. So everyone, Alexander, thank you again for coming on, my friend, and
Thanks to you. And welcome.
people in the chat. Thanks for putting up with me. I'm gonna do my archaeological news from now on more often.
Yes, that would be very great if you could do this. And yes,
Yeah, I'm. That's my forte. I've reached I've concluded that I'm not that smart when it comes to political commentary, and I can remember shit that's been written, and I can regurgitate it back. But if it comes to analyze it or so on, I'm nowhere as near as good as 90% of even the people here that are in my chat and so on. I'm not that good. But when it comes to archaeology, I can and logic, and also logic, which is that my equation, the equality. I can debate though. I work really good at debates. If I had Sargon or Bering or anyone else, me and them against anyone, oh god, there's no chance they would.
yep, that could be very
No one.
funny.
Yeah.
And concentrate fire on them.
No chance because I know how I was taught by the best indirectly the best debaters in the world, in my opinion, the Portuguese soccer debaters after the games. We have the debate. One of the representative of each of the top teams, and they debate each other. I can how do you think I recognize the cognitive dissonance, straw manning, deflection, no true Scotsman, all those shits? I didn't know what they meant, but until I actually I knew what it meant. I just didn't know the word for them. But when I started reading, oh shit, that's interesting. That guy's deflecting, and that guy's straw manning. He got an argument for that's totally different, and so on. Yeah. So yes.
The problem for me is my bad English, because I haven't since around 5 or 6 years nobody which have time to me to talk in English. Therefore, I'm just reading, listening to you guys, and writing. That's all what I can do. And during my study time at the university, I have on daily contact guys in mother tongue, in English, for 8 or 10 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you have had at last some experience to talk. But nowadays, you see my spelling mistakes, etc., etc. And
I learned Portuguese like you described now English. At home, when I was growing up, my father and my late mother would only talk Portuguese. That's talk. It doesn't mean I could write or read. My father used to receive a little 4-page Portuguese newspaper. After he read it, I would actually get it and read it myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I learned.
It's a good.
I have I honestly am not comfortable speaking Portuguese at work. I have to, but I always really think I calm down, or not calm down. I pause before I speak so I can try and get the best enunciation of the words. Like what I'm doing now in English, with English, I'm enunciating perfectly, but that's not how I grew up. The way I grew up was with this accent, right? We talk really stupid, and it was the WOG accent. It's like the American equivalent of the used to be the Valley Girls of California or something. Like the way they say like all the time, or say emphasize something, that I try with English. I'm comfortable. I can speak without. It's my first language. I think in English. But with the other languages, especially Portuguese, because the Portuguese are fucking cunts. I'm in Portugal, but I'm also close to Spain. But I'm in Portugal, and when I talk, they say to me, "Oh, are you Spanish?" And I have to say, "No, don't take my way of speaking as example. I didn't grow up here." I explained to them. I have to explain to them because I'm a fucking have to. Or if I outside of work, like if I go to a city and someone in a trip by myself or something, and I don't know anyone, and they ask me, "Oh, are you Spanish?" I say, "No, you fucking cunt. I'm more Portuguese than you bastard." That's what I tell them. But at work, I can't. I have to swallow it and patiently say, "No, I didn't grow up here in Portugal. My background is English, and etc. etc." Oh, so yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for coming on. Good night.
Good night. Bye bye.